Well, this is definitely going to ruffle the feathers of more than a few birds out there. I'm talking about all those modern women out there.
They call him GHOSTMAS, pairs a final voice of reason in a world gone.
Oh, God, I said it. Oh, the modern woman. That object of femininity that men are so fearful of these days. Here we have a lovely video by the Happy Wife School. Now, would I say panders to men? No, I wouldn't. But she does discuss many issues that men seem to agree with, or I should say, she takes on the stances that men agree with on there. This one, what causes high sex drive in women? What a fiery topic. And let's fire it up here. Shut up, Ghosty.
Ladies, we have to get out of our story that we want sex, we want more sex, that we have the higher sex drive, our husbands don't have a higher sex drive, and we're deprived of sex in our marriages.
How often is that a storyline that is ever heard? I mean, it's out there sometimes, mind you. But it does not seem that most women feel that way. Modern women, perhaps, maybe, I don't know. Let's continue on here.
There are no women married to good men who, after getting married, want to have sex, key piece here, for themselves.
She said it, dropping the bombshell on there. Now, I can see all the women. What is the absurdity? Oh, get the pitchforks and all that. Good stuff out of there. But it gets better. It gets better the more it goes on here.
There is always a hidden agenda. In the beginning of my relationship with Adam, that's my husband, before we were married.
Who is she, Eve?
Because before we get married as women, we enjoy sex, and then we put our walls up because we got what we wanted, and we push sex away. You can go watch my video on the switch. I forget the title of it, but if you look through the thumbnails in my videos, you'll see we have a switch. And in the video, we have a switch. You can learn more about that. Or why men need sex. I touch on that there as well. But in the beginning of my relationship with Adam, we had sex frequently. I enjoyed sex, but I also used sex as a control mechanism to where I wanted sex more. And my husband has a high sex drive, and I wanted sex more. And I was wanting to have, not to be too TMI, but I was wanting to have sex like twice a day, but it wasn't for me.
Oh, that's
It
nothing.
was a control tactic.
Now, immediately I know this mainly is a male viewer centric. I am certain of it. But I can tell the men will right away see a flashback to a point in their relationships where this rings true to them. Where they had the initial burst on there. The blunk, reeling you in on there with that bait out there. The old feminine delicacy bait on a hook with this fine young lady is speaking of here. Paused it a bit. Not the prettiest of freeze frames on her. Well, give her some grace.
To have a leash on him, and it came from a paranoia in myself of I was scared he'd be attracted to another woman, or he wouldn't want to stay with me, or God forbid he masturbate. And it was a control mechanism. That was my hidden agenda. And for the majority of women who say they have a higher sex drive, the hidden agenda is something linked to control. And
now, are you understanding what she is putting forth here? Basically saying that any time a woman after getting married, I'd assume after children as well, hunting for intercourse, is doing it solely out of selfish reasons. I'm not saying it. I am simply paraphrasing what I am hearing. Now, could I be incorrect? No. No. This is what she said.
in a control tactic. I want to give an example of one of
Controlling.
my students who came through the men's course, and this I've heard this a number of times, where there is often a point as good men go through my men's course that they'll share like, my wife is sensing something is afoot. Like, she's acting very strange, because what happens for good men through the course is they regain their strength, they regain their confidence, and they begin to stand up for themselves in the face of the emasculation, or they begin to be in a responsible, respectful way as a good man, indifferent to their wives' emasculating behaviors, and they're no longer on the hook of the emasculation in their marriage. And this is very concerning to women. It's very
And that is a difficult hook that many men find nearly impossible to, like when that fish gets right up in the old upper roof of the mouth, little bobbed in there, little bobbed feminine delicacy. Gets stuck up in there, and it takes a long while, a lot of times. It's very difficult for them trying to escape out of that mindset.
concerning, because the control has flipped, and all of a sudden we feel our hooks are no longer in our husbands. We feel we don't have the control over them anymore that we once did. And that's very uncomfortable to us, because that's the whole point of emasculation, is to weaken a man so that we are the ones in control. We have all the power, and we strip a good man of his.
Now, this is all very, very cynical, very extremely cynical towards the women here. Now, she is talking about a certain type here, certain particular variety that would attempt to emasculate. Now, others say that is innate in all women. Now, whether that's true or not, you can debate on there. But for the purposes of this video here, this one in particular is saying using the intercourse there is simply a method of control. And I tell you, you could scroll down here and look at the many comments from men and find this being corroborated across years of time. Like, if you look in here, 40-year marriage, and after birth of a child in 1992, she allowed me sex only 5 more times. She always promised things would get better. I finally left her this year, and she said she didn't understand why. What a wasted life. Now, I don't understand these foolish men on here who they put up with this lifestyle, this dynamic of sexlessness, basically getting nothing out of it for so long, and they take it almost pridefully. I was in there for 10 years. We didn't have sex the last 7. I did 15. It's a competition to them to see which fool stuck it out the longest and then complain at the end. Well, they knew it was happening at that time, but they kept it going. Now, they have various reasons for not leaving, and I'd assume most of probably fear-based of, my God, I better not try something different here. Might not go well for me at this age. It took me long enough to get one.
His own power and break him down. So as he starts to rebuild himself through the course, it is very often that they will share with, my wife is acting very strange. she's concerned. She's asking me weird questions. And one gentleman shared with me that he said, my wife's acting very strange. She knows something, I'm changing and something's different. And she was a woman who had stopped wanting sex and wasn't having sex very often with him. And he said, she's initiating sex with me every day. He said, but she's still not engaged.
The sudden resurgence of that lustful atmosphere, once again, cynically based here, saying that if your relationship's a bit on the fritz, that many women understand that lustful intercourse, the longing of the man, is a very powerful glue or attractant that they can use to patch up many holes of the, well, that sounds a little dirty when it's said that way. They can fill up a lot of the holes with that and keep it from going awry. So, is that ringing true to anybody else on there, that They could have difficulties in the relationship, and all of a sudden the woman's interest starts picking up again. Oh, let me do this for you. Let me do that. Oh, yeah, come into the bathroom here. Oh, ready to go to the bedroom. Oh, look what I got on. And the old happy wife school is claiming this is done purely out of selfish, manipulative reasons.
And she's checked out. So, she's not there. I know she's not enjoying it, but she's initiating sex with me every day.
Yeah, you go,
and I help
boy.
them see that's because she feels her hook's not in you anymore. She's trying to get them back in, and she's scared you might leave and that she no longer has the control, and you might be strong enough in yourself if you don't want to stay in the relationship. She's feeling you might leave, so she's trying to get her hooks in you and get you to stay by having.
And the ladies know that is perhaps the most powerful tool they possess, especially in a failing one, if they have not been providing it. And then all of a sudden this worked before. So it's kind of a game plan where they allow certain things to fall to the wayside. And this is a little shore-up action here. Wait a minute, remember this, honey? Remember this thing down here? You want that, don't you? And if the fellow at that time has grown so tired of the games, so worn out by the whole relationship dynamic overall, not just the old delicacy, because they haven't been getting that anyway, so now they think, well, is it really even worth that? That's fine that you can offer it now, but it's a little too late. It works early on, no doubt, for many, many men, simply because they don't have it. And then when they go without it, they start seeing the other pieces of the relationship that aren't necessarily all that great to them. So when the lady swoops back in with the lifting up of the skirt and the playful tease over the kitchen counter, wherever it might be, the fellow is not that interested anymore.
Sex with you every day. This is an example of we weaponize sex.
And to further that thought, when that happens, that sets about a bit of a panic in the woman's mind, because she thinks, boy, this used to work. I could just do this one thing here. I'd get whatever I wanted back out of it, or most of it. Now why isn't it working? So when the most powerful piece, the most powerful tool or weapon on the board that they have to push forward no longer has a result, the desired result, it sets about a bit of a panic, a bit of alarm bells go off, and they think, God, I'm losing the game now. What can I do?
We weaponize sex as women by either withholding and depriving a good man of sex, or by having a higher sex drive and constantly wanting sex from them. And it's all a tactic of control. There is always a hidden agenda, and it is almost always linked to some control tactic to keep our husbands on a leash and to own them.
Boy, that is quite cynical. Imagine if we assume this is true here, it puts a damper on any kind of romantic or lusty carnal pleasures, doesn't it? If you think the other side is only doing it from a control perspective. So perhaps in this type of relationship that might be true, but I fail to see how it could be universally true at every time. I'm not going to pander that much to the men on it who are suffering through that sort of situation, but I for sure would not say 100% of the time she is accurate here.
That's why as women, we have to get out of our stories that we have the higher sex drive. And this, again, my message are for women married to good men and for good men married to women who have the common, normal, everyday issues behind closed doors that you would expect your neighbors to have. That's the context we're talking about this in. That, ladies, we have to get out of our stories. We have the higher sex drive and we want more sex. No, it is a control tactic. We're not wanting to have a lot of sex for ourselves purely because we enjoy it. we have a hidden agenda. So
Oh,
if
it
you are one of
stings the
these women, you want to
soul.
get honest with yourself, not making yourself bad and wrong, but get honest with yourself, because you have to see yourself as the problem. You are the only solution. That's empowering. That allows you to live in camp.
Now you see why the men love this lady on here. They just love hearing her messages and her talks on here, because she is mainly blameful of the female side of the equation here, which may or may not be true depending on the situation. But when one side, especially when a female panders to the male mind, boy, the troops rally behind her. Going down, women being honest, that's a good one. I love this channel. Hear a woman saying, we are like this. We're doing it for control. This is an honorable woman. I tell you, anytime they agree with you, when the other side, the other Benedict Arnold pops out there, you for sure have Western women punish good men. Read that again. Competition anxiety lowers as soon as women lives with a man. Now that, I think, bears some truth across many types. Finally, a woman who doesn't demonize men. I think we get the idea here on it. They love her. They love her.
Take responsibility and get out of camp victim blaming your husband. You want to look in the mirror in a constructive, reflective way of, what's my hidden agenda?
Lord.
What's my hidden agenda? That I want to have sex more than my husband, or I'm constantly at him for sex and making him wrong, that he doesn't want sex as much as me, or that he's stopped wanting sex. It's probably in a spectrum. Hello again. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful, wonderful news from her on there. I wonder if some of the women, I didn't see a female comment down here, but I wonder what their take on it would be. I mean, I know what they would say on it, those of a certain ilk, but still. She said the quiet part, I can't find a female comment on here. Scrolling through, that shows something of the matter here. Anyway, that's enough rambling here. You get the message of the day here. They're all out to get you. Everyone's out to get you. Men, women, boys, girls, neighbors, government. Everybody's out to get you. And if they want sex with you, it's to control you. That's the message of the day now. Let's go about and play some games or go eat some lunch or whatever you do out there. But for now, boys and gals, as always, GHOSTMAS Pass here. Taking a little break. Ta-ta for now. Don't be controlled.